Our topic tonight is AI and its applications to our modeling.
To tell you a bit of a story, because I always like telling stories. Um, I was going to another guy's workshop and he was talking about creating brick houses on Cumberland Avenue. And some of you will know Ron Tuff. He's an excellent modeler and he's in the Homes Club. And he brought up the interesting thing that when you want to model something, sometimes it's pretty difficult to do because people get rather suspicious when you're out in the street there with your camera taking pictures of their house. You might worry that a police officer might come over and question your intentions, sort of thing. So what he used was he got pictures, but he also used Google Maps. And when you see the street view, it gives you an excellent details of buildings. But the other thing that Streets View does that a lot of people don't realize is there is a part on that where they show the address, they show see more dates. Can you see that?
Mhm.
When you press that button, it shows you every date that they've taken a picture at that area of that
Wow.
building. Now, I thought that was an interesting feature that people may not realize because buildings change with time. And sometimes a building you want to model is gone, but it might be there a year or two before and you've missed it. I also like this picture. Eric, I'm sure you were wondering if you picked this guy up after his job here because he's got a ladder on a roof. This looks like a fire pickup in the making here, but
Yeah, I've done that.
it just gives you an idea of what you can do through Google Maps. And I was all excited because I thought, "Well, I never looked at Google Maps in my railroad that I model, so maybe I'd take a look at that." So I modeled the Dolly Varden, and in this map you can see there's Vancouver, and Alisarm is way, way up, almost at Ketchikan in Alaska. It's way, way up there. So I figured, oh wow, what can I see of Alisarm on Google Maps? So I get this view and I say, oh boy, I can take a better look. Let's take a look. And then when I go to zoom in, all I get is junk. I can't see anything. So I have to make a trip up to Alisarm. So I use Google Maps to figure it out. They say it only takes 2 hours and 46 minutes. They didn't realize it's a logging road. This is like 5 hours worth of travel to do this. It's a beautiful trip, and you're going through the beautiful parts of northern British Columbia. And I love the high railings they put on the side of their bridges. I can imagine how many people would jump off of bridges. You just can lean over and fall off these ones. And we had to go through a town called Kitsault. Now, has any of you heard of the town of Kitsault? Kitsault is a town that was a mine that they had the whole town built. Everyone moved in, and then they closed the mine. But instead of tearing down the houses, they kept the houses and preserved them all. And they're all locked into the 70s, 80s motif. So you can see a lot of pastel colors. They even had a bank and a shopping mall. They had a medical center, and all the equipment is still in there. I'm not sure how good it is to use, but it's there. It's just a place locked in to the late 70s, and it's all there, and it's all kept clean and well maintained. Problem is, this wasn't really my goal to see this, and that's the curling center. You never went out there at night though, because those scratch marks are from the bears. So you weren't the biggest predator out there. But I had to get across there. I had to get to the other side of this area. So I had to take a boat. So I took a boat over there, and lo and behold, I crossed over and I went to look at my wonderful wharf area that my layout was being based on. And you can see that now it's a little overgrown. you can see the sidewalls of it, but all the trees have just grown way over, and there's really not much to see there. And the beautiful ore tipple that's there, there's only one bent of it left. The crazy thing is the metal bolts that they used for it almost look like they were produced yesterday. They're actually very well preserved. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was the toxic waste they used to protect them in those days. So, and when I went to look for all these parts of the railway itself, you can see that all I could find was some chunks of rail here. This rail was a whopping 35-pound rail. So that rail probably is only about 4 to 6 inches high. It's very tiny. So I wasn't going to get much modeling out of this. This was a very limited amount of material. And I found this, they think it's a trailing truck off of a locomotive, but I didn't figure it was going to come as a carry-on on the plane. So I found some pictures, but you can see that the boxcar, for instance, now just looks like a big, all that survived was the frame. The wood is all rotted away. And the beautiful ore cars they had, all I've got is these small pieces of it left. The buildings have slightly rotted. They really have that open concept feel now. You can see how they were built, but they're really not going to do much good. So even though it was a beautiful place to visit, it wasn't really going to help me much in my quest to model the Dolly Varden. So I had to go back to whatever sources I could find. And the Dolly Varden has this wonderful book written on it, Steel Rails and Silver Dreams. And when you get a book like this, and published in 1985, but the quality of the pictures, even though they're beautiful pictures, they were very limited print quality. So it's really hard to see the details in them. But the beauty of books is usually they have credits for where they got the pictures from. So I followed up with the Vancouver Public Library, and I found most of the pictures from the book at the library itself. So you look at this picture here, for instance, this is from the book, and it's kind of pixelated a bit. You can get the idea. But when I got the picture from the library, it's much, much cleaner. It's a much easier one to model from because of the quality of the image. So the picture on the left is from the book, and the picture from the right is actually from the library. And from those better pictures from the library, I could actually tell that this picture was of Camp 5 because it's actually written on the side of the building. But I wanted to get more detail. So I used a photo AI program, and look how much sharper I was able to make the image with the AI software compared to even the best picture I could get from the library of that. It shows us there's a lot of potential here to improve our modeling if we can see what we're trying to model. Now, artificial intelligence, a lot of people think of the Terminator movies and they're going to eat the world and so on, and how terrible this would be. But really, it's just to make things easier for us to do things. It really is all it can do. And one classic example, I think, in terms of something that's made easier by a product like an interface or so on, is how many of you use JMRI? Some of you? JMRI, I think most of us, when we were initially doing decoder installs, DCC decoders, it was a pretty onerous thing trying to figure tables and so on and calculations. Decoder Pro with JMRI makes this so much easier because it gives us an interface that's easy to learn. And it's the same with these AI softwares that they use for photographs. Now, the example I'm using is a product called HitPaw Photo AI. It costs about $40. It's fairly inexpensive, but you can see how it can improve the details of a photo just by doing these minor adjustments. And as an example, I was trying to work on this Alice Arm Hotel. When I visited there, you can see that most of the hotel doesn't exist. It's just now they've a new cabin out on the hill. And some of the photos weren't that great. This was a construction photo, so you can see the angled siding, the subsiding that they would have put before the finished siding. But from the book, I was able to get some better pictures. What I wanted to look at is these gables. You can see at the gables, there's some siding on them, but I really can't tell what the detail is of this siding. So I got a better picture of it. I got it something at 2400 DPI to get a better image. And with the better image, I've got a better look at it, but I'm not still really sure what the siding is on this gable. I'm not quite sure. So now I use Photo AI to sharpen it, and now I very distinctly can see what the siding looks like. You can see how it's got this multi-level exposure, and then this is like a tooth sort of look to it. I can only get that by upscaling the picture and making it look sharper. So if you're trying to model with the picture on the left, you really are having a hard time, but the picture on the right, you have more chance of doing an appropriate model. Now, another example of things that I use Photo AI to improve on was these houses on the High Line. I could see the structures, but I couldn't really tell what siding they had. So I looked at it, and then by being able to zoom in, I could actually see the actual detail of the siding much better. And this is all by using photo enhancement software to improve on things. So the one on the left is the original, and the one on the right is using the AI software. So you can see I get a very, very much clearer picture to work from. And the Dolly Varden House, another signature structure on my railway. At first, I thought the siding on the building was just straight boards. But when I zoomed in with the Photo AI software, now I can see a distinct detail, an actual shape to it. Much bigger difference when I do it that way. And when I looked in I'm not sure if any of you have got these books, but they're Adele's Carpenter's Builder's Guides. They actually show how they built things in a certain era. I've got the books from the 1920s so that I can get an idea how structures were built in those times. And then I found out that this siding is what they call novelty siding. So I'm actually able to now recreate it because now I have a good grasp of what I'm trying to model. And this is the software I use, the HitPaw photo software. And as I said, it's good to boost imaging. And you can also colorize too. But in this case, I'm just worried about cleaning up pictures. I can denoise them. And the one on the left is not denoised, but the one on the right is. And you can see the railing is much cleaner on the one on the right. And then, as I said, I can clean up the image a bit just by trying some of the different settings. You see on the left, the railing's pretty bad, but the one on the right, the railing's much sharper. And you can do some basic colorization. And even though colorization software isn't perfect, the nice thing about colorization is it actually separates things that kind of blended together in the black and white. So you can actually see some of the breakup of it. Now, another AI product I like using is Colored Surprise AI. It's made by Pixbin. And what it allows you to do is colorize your black and white pictures. And I hope that you would agree with me, the picture on the right looks a lot better than the picture on the left. So as I said, I use this PixBIM software. And the beauty is that there are some colors that we should know. Green trees, for instance, greenish grass, those can help us make a baseline to making the other colors in the picture. And the beauty of this this software is it only has a couple of adjustments. It allows you to do some minor adjustments on your own, so you can make it better or make it different by just adjusting these little sliders. So it's fairly user friendly. Like the color quality, it's just how fast it processes the picture. If you have a good computer, you don't worry about these things. The temperature, you can make the picture more yellow, or if you bring it up, it brings it more blue. Because you know that the background, in my case, I have lots of trees, I know that they'll be greenish so that I can use the temperature to adjust those. And your color intensity, if you go full low, it would be black and white, and higher adds more intense color to it. Then you can adjust the contrast. You can reduce the red tones that come out. And the gamma correction reduces or changes the brightness. So it's always best to focus on the colors you know, like greens.
Any idea what's on the cart there?
On the cart, it looks like old barrels, actually, but not sure. So here's a picture, another picture from this, of this railway. Now here it is in color. The blues and the greens come out, and it really helps separate the images within, and helps you dig into a lot of the details that are here. And this dining room looks pretty ordinary. When you add color to it, it really pops the picture quite a bit. And I do like as well, you can see these little objects like these carnation crates and so on in there. It really does add to the detail. And you got to remember, these are pictures from 1920. They're over 100 years old. This dining room looks very bland and black and white, but in color, it looks pretty impressive. And you can see the separation is very distinct between objects with color. And then this dining area up at Camp 8 there, when you add color to it, it really makes it more vivid. Colorization is not perfect, but it really does add a new element to things. Just brings it more to life. I especially like these pictures. This is, you can see on the right is the river, and the railway just skirted along. I always wondered what it was like to operate this railway, because if you look on the left, the room between the hopper and that cliff is not very much. If you were on the side of that car, you're smushed. But look at it in color.
Wow.
That is pretty impressive.
Wow.
And this one really catches me. Here's this beautiful locomotive. And look at it in color.
Wow. Nice modeling.
The one detail I love in this picture is if you look at the back of the Climax locomotive, you notice that it has a link and pin coupler. The railway, what it would do is it would only push up locomotives or cars up the grade with the knuckle couplers. It would only pull things with link and pin couplings, because they were always worried about things coming apart. The railway had corners up to 39%. So things came apart sometimes. And then the Alice Arm Hotel looks quite a bit better in color.
It's amazing.
Look at that. It really makes quite a difference. And even the wharf, even though it's trying to create colors, it still makes a big difference in the look of the railway and your potential to model it. Then the interior here, you can see these poor guys trying to get their dinner and saying, finish the photograph. And I would certainly love to do this building here. This is the
Yes, Karen. You should see the software. It'll colorize a black and white photo.
I mean, this looks like, can you imagine the smell in this room rather than even just the room with all the long johns hanging off of it and these nice 2x4 roof rafters on it. I love the way it's done. And then the bridge, it really makes it really stand out with when you have the greens breaking apart from the actual bridge itself.
Mm-hmm.
And Camp 8 in color. Now, the other thing I thought of playing around with was, could I enhance video? Because a lot of us have old videos. It could be Super 8 or regular 8, or it could be old VHS movies. Well, believe it or not, my little railway has a video of it. And it was shot in 1935. But they never heard of the thing called Steadicam in those days. And I'll show you the original footage, just a small snippet of it, and show you how rickety it was. You can see just bunching, just popping around. It was really, really bumpy. So I think after a while, if you were watching this, you'd be in pretty rough shape. So what I tried to do is I tried to improve the quality of it by making it look better. And it's a little bit sharper. The rocks are a little sharper, but still the bumping around really takes away from what you can see. So what I was able to do was I was able to stabilize the video. And watch when you stabilize it. It makes it so much easier to watch. It's not perfect, but it makes it easier to view. Colorization in video didn't really work quite as well as I'd like. It was still pretty flat overall, but the beauty of the colorization, it did separate the bushes from the rocks a little better in terms of visualizing it. And that was into the camp itself there. Now, I tried to do a video. I wanted to see what it'd be like to do a VHS video. So I found this old video that I shot at the 403. Now, this is when I sharpen it with this AI software. The title becomes much sharper. It improves. Now, this shows you a screen capture of the original and the AI enhanced, and you can see the stripes are a little bit sharper, but I think overall the gains was fairly limited in terms of what I could do. The other big thing is that, is AI something you even want to do at all? The products I was showing you were fairly low-cost products, but you could certainly spend, the sky's the limit on this stuff if you really wanted to go to a more professional product and try to do better things. But with the photo software, I think you can do good with these smaller packages. But as soon as you get into video, you're talking a whole different league of product. Video AI, those little 20-second videos took over 3 hours to process on my computer. It is very, very intense. So be aware that any of these products, the better the computer, the happier you will be with the modifying products. And that is my short presentation there. If we have any questions, I will stop sharing. Do we have any questions?
Well, it's amazing what you can pick out of those old pictures.
Yes, I've been lucky. The Dolly Varden was shot with 8x10 glass negatives, so the resolution is pretty incredible for a very small railway. But I still think the color really adds to what you pull out of them as well. I keep thinking of all the rail pictures we have in black and white, and it'd be curious if you converted them to color, what more you might find by looking at them.
So how much was that colorization? How much did that cost?
The photo colorization software was $60.
Huh, okay.
I look at that as like one boxcar. I mean, it's
Yeah.
this is the reality. And if you're modeling, I mean, I'm spending money on tools and so on and so forth, spending a little money on the research at the beginning to make sure I'm going down the right path is really good. And I think these products give us some ideas and stuff we can do to improve on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish I had known about that when I did the museum project. Because trying to take photographs to do drawings so the guys could make up the buildings
Yeah,
would have been a heck of a lot nicer.
yeah. Any other questions?
Can you
Well,
extrapolate measurements?
Just a comment. One of the Toronto Super Club meetings, they were talking about colorization of postcards.
Yeah.
And they had about 4,000 people working on the colorization. Kodak had about 4,000 people working on colorization of postcards and things. And it just shows how far we've come.
Well, I think 10 years ago, you would have needed a supercomputer to do what you can do with your home computer now. It's pretty incredible. But I think it's the results are pretty impressive what you get out of it, sort of thing, for what you put in. So
Can you extrapolate measurements somehow with the
I
software?
haven't seen a way of doing that. No.
Yeah.
One thing that I have done with GIMP is to correct for the perspective. So you can actually turn things into a plain straight-on picture. And from there on, you can extrapolate the sizes.
Right. Sorry, what you said, what was the program?
GIMP,
GIMP.
graphic
GIMP.
GIMP.
Yeah.
Graphic image manipulation program.
Okay.
Well, yeah, once you have one dimension, usually the height, you can work from there.
Fortunately, in none of my pictures do I have someone with a ruler on the side of the building. So I'm having to go with door measurements as being the starting point, sort of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I noted what you said about Street View.
Yes,
Does Google pick up older pictures, pre-Google pictures in that, or is it just for
no,
whatever
it's just whatever they've shot with their
Oh.
cars going around the street views. So I'd say within the last 10 years, you're probably got a hope, but certainly won't be from the 40s or 50s.
No.
I haven't tried it lately, but Google Earth threw in satellite pictures from before Google existed, including things like Toronto International Airport when it wasn't so international.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you say Google Earth, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
The other great thing we discovered this year, my wife needed a new iPad, and she does a lot of pictures and photography, and we were there looking at, do we buy this one or this one costs more? And the photographic software in the iPad Air is just insane. It removes your reflection from the window when you're shooting out a train or a boat. It removes people that are photobombing the shot that you really wanted.
Yes.
Telephone poles, wires, all kinds of stuff. It's just wild.
It goes back to those postcards where we see them. They actually do blank out things like telephone poles and unwanted.
Yeah.
If only we could get a piece of software that would eliminate all these people's taking selfies everywhere.
Haven't tried that one. Maybe that'll work too on that iPad Air.
Maybe you could comment a little bit, Walter, on your modeling of the Dolly Varden.
I haven't been able to model very much. I just model I haven't been modeling the actual rail and its flow sort of thing. The buildings are the next phase of it, and that's the part I'm looking forward to doing the most. But
Right.
I wanted to get the plans first, sort of thing. And since I can't go to the corner store and get those, I have to come up with other ways.
Yeah.
Does the Google map give you any idea of how the tracks would have been? Because often you can find traces.
Yeah, you can see chunks of the right of way, but it's the resolution's very low in that area, sort of thing. Where other places of the country have very high res, that place does not.
It's a beautiful site. I mean, what you showed us, the pictures are amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the people that are exploring the mine. They have LiDAR up there that penetrates through the trees, and I'm trying to see if they can give me some LiDAR images of the wharf area, so I can get rid of the tree parts that are blocking my way. So
Was the Dolly Varden narrow gauge or standard gauge?
It was 36-inch gauge. So
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah.
How many of you can see applications for this kind of stuff in your own modeling?
I know that all the pictures that we took up and down the Rhine will make a lot of beautiful tunnel entrances coming up.
It's true. A lot of people have been using it to make use the photo software to also make backdrops and so on. We can do a lot of things we couldn't do even 10 years ago. That's just pretty incredible what we can do. So
backdrops are awesome, are big. They make the whole scene for you.
Yeah. Well,
Which operating system will it work on? Windows 10?
Yes. I started with Windows 10. I'm up to Windows 11 now, so
I'm resisting Windows 11 just because why should I get it, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You don't have much choice at a point, no?
Yeah. And then they want you to pay annually for it.
Windows 10 is no longer supported by Microsoft.
No.
That's the only thing, is Windows isn't supported by Microsoft. Outside of that, it functions fully and it will continue to function fully.
For a long time.
Yeah, just if you're using it online, pick another antivirus. But I'm using Windows 10 on my desktop, and actually Microsoft's Defender is still
So it works fine.
still works fine, except that it's not being updated.
Yep.
Although I think you'll find that it is still being updated because there are so many licenses out there that are have been extended, and Microsoft's just releasing the updates blanket.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, I wouldn't update until I get a new computer.
Yeah.
They did put out an extension to the end of the year. If you got to go hunt for it, but it's out there.
Yeah, and for those that like to model buildings, and if you can get one dimension, there is some model builder software. It's by Evan Designs. When I bought it, it was about $40 US. And if you have one dimension, it will scale the other one for you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Heard of that.
What was the name of the company?
It's called Model Builder Software. And the company is Evan Designs. They're out of the States.
This is why it's good to have these things, because we all are learning stuff as we go along.
Yeah, for sure. Does anybody else use any other programs specifically for model building?
Use Excel for drawings.
Mm-hmm.
It'll work.
I use GIMP for making decals, and I can see where this program would really help with some photographs where the signage wasn't real clear.
Mm-hmm.
That would really help.
We have some
That
fellows
siding,
doing 3D, and they use Gemini.
right? That siding that you showed is something we used to sell in the lumber yard. We used to call it Spruce Cove siding, 6-inch Spruce Cove.
As I said, from the original photographs, it just looked like planks. And then when I looked in, it's like, that ain't planks. Those gaps are bigger than that. And then there it was. So
Yeah, they cut a cove into the top of the board and shiplap joint. It's quite interesting.
is that to help the water run off it better? Or
I believe so, yes.
It's a drip stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'll scratch build it. I think I'm going to just buy it.
Oh, come on. Get a milling machine and mill it yourself, Walter.
What was the second piece of software? The first one was HitPaw. Didn't catch the screenshot of the second one.
And then we had a Pixbin
There you go.
surprise.
That's the one that's $60, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, the usual thing is they change names of their products every once in a while. So
Yeah.
See if they can sell it to you again.
If you're talking about software, I use PowerPoint extensively when I'm working a project. I take photographs and elements of photographs and play with them so that you might have a photograph that contains 3 items of interest in the same photograph. So, but if you're modeling a fence or something, you can take that detail and put it into another slide with other photographs of the fence and get the detail you want. So I use it like a construction site.
It's interesting.
yeah, the website hitpaw.com has a number of different AI tools, both photo, video, and audio tools as well, that are very inexpensive. So
Great. Any other thoughts, questions?
Well, it's a good presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
terrific. Yeah.
Very informative.
I tried to make it a little shorter than the last one, but it's, as I said, I just think it's a good tools for us to have in our utility belt, so to speak. So
Yeah. No, I'm sure you've given us all a lot to think about and some good ideas to pursue in our own modeling.
now we just want to colorize that picture behind you there. We just,
Yes. Yes, that's the Uxbridge on the Toronto and Nipissing Railway. It used to run through our town here. It was built in Kingston. That's the Kingston Locomotive Works in behind. Interestingly, again, you can't see the detail here, and we might I might be able to enhance it.
Yeah.
The narrow gauge rails are sitting on ties sitting on top of standard gauge. So an interesting little detail.
See it.
Save some construction work.
Yes, that's right.
If you look at some of the military railways, you'll find that they often had two lines running across each other, and they just had a section of track that literally lifted out, and then they would put it back in
Mm-hmm.
when they wanted the train to go over it. So
Yeah. I think there's a type of switch they could do that too, so you didn't have to put a solid frog in. You could go over a joint.
I just like how they've spaced the ties so much on the upper part there of your image there. It's
Yeah. It's interesting.
Heavy duty lumber too.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll adjourn. Just a reminder, if you'd like to join us for a discussion on prototypes and operations, join us on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time or Daylight Savings Time. And I've already sent out the invites. If you haven't received one, email me and I'll get one off to you.
Malcolm, the double headers layout tour is on the 28th
Okay,
for those people in GTA.
right. That's always a fun time. Okay, thank
Maybe.
you very much, Walter. Appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you.
good evening, everyone.
Good night, all.
good night.
Good night.
And thanks.